Hello my dear students, I welcome you all to your history online class. So again in today's class we'll be starting a new chapter from your Indian history, that is known as chapter number 4, talking about the changing phase of the Indian democracy but from the year of 1979 till 1986. So if you have seen the previous chapter, chapter number 3, there we have discussed regarding the emergency that occurred in the year of 1975 under the advice or under the guideline of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the first Lady Prime Minister of India. And then in today's class we'll be focusing that after emergency occurred in the year of 1975, what were the problems that were being faced by the state government as well as the central government, and talking about the demands that was led by the Punjab state for a separate nation away from the India as a country. So let's start the class. So first we talk about the central and the state relation. So after the emergency that occurred, what exactly went on between the central government as well as the state government regarding that who would be the next Prime Minister of India. And during those time we see that after Morarji Desai, the first non-Congress member became the Prime Minister of India, and then we see the new face of the Prime Minister. But during those time there was a president known as Mr. Sanjeeva Reddy, and under his direction he appointed Charan Singh as the Prime Minister. But when he appointed Charan Singh as the Prime Minister, so many of the opposition political parties, they stood against the appointment that was being done to Charan Singh for not having all the qualification or the criteria to be the Prime Minister of India. And hardly he lasted only for 3 weeks and he had to resign from the post of Prime Ministership. So next we focus on that under Sanjeeva Reddy, the President of India, during those time we see that there was a fresh election that was conducted for the post of Prime Minister. And we all know that Prime Minister, mostly the term or the tenure exists for only 5 years. It also comes under the general election. So it was been conducted in the month of January in the year of 1980. And then we see that Mrs. Indira Gandhi, again her entry towards the political party, even she wanted to get same that name and fame she wanted to restore after emergency. She did whatever the mistakes she had done after giving the order of emergency, and then she had to apologize for the mistake that she did in the year of 1975. Next we focus in the year of 1985. So 1984 is the year where we see the assassination of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. She was being killed, and then we see her youngest son known as Rajiv Gandhi, who became the Prime Minister of India, and even it is been said that he is the youngest Prime Minister of India till date. Next we focus on the Punjab separatist demand. That means a new topic mainly talking about the Punjab state. As we all know, Chandigarh stands as the capital of Punjab. So during those time, from the year of 1970 to 1980, there was already a new kind of sensation in the state of Punjab regarding the demand of separate Sikh country. For all the Sikh community there should be a separate nation, and that was the main demand, that was the aims and objectives. And a new movement also was formed, that is known as Khalistan movement. After the Khalistan movement, they had made lots of aims and objectives regarding the what were the demands, what were their main program, what kind of planning that they were making against the central government, or what kind of formation that they would set up for a new nation called for the Sikh community. And then we see that there was also a Akhali Dal, a particular organization was being set up known as Akhali Dal, whose main work was to demonstrate as well as show the demand to the central government, because overall the main power lied under the hand of central government. We see the year of 1973, where it is clearly said that about the resolution that was being raised in Anand Sahib Bazaar resolution, talking about the 7 points, the 7 objectives that the Punjab state wanted from the central government. So we'll highlight some of the points. So first, talking about the transfer of power. The administration power would given the hand to the Punjab from the Chandigarh. So that was also a kind of resolution that was being raised in Anand Sahib. Next we focus on the speaking of Punjabi language. The people, those who were speaking Punjabi language during those time, we see that how they also wanted that from the Haryana state, the people, those who are speaking Punjabi, they should get a new kind of formation with the particular aims and objectives as well as the facilities, and transfer them to the Punjab state. Third, we talk about the industrialization. A lots of development in the field of technology during those times, even in the state of Punjab, and even they wanted that lots of amenities or facilities should also be provided to the weaker sections of the Punjab state. So these were all the highlighting point which mainly talks about the regulation that was raised in Anand Sahib resolution in the year of 1973, demanding their aims, demanding their problems to the central government. Next, we focus on the Operation Blue Star. The Operation Blue Star has been remarkable as one of the main operations that was done in the heart of Punjab in a very famous temple known as Amritsar, also known as the Holy Golden Temple. So there we see when the Khalistan movement was formed, when they raised their demand one by one, highlighting all the points of Anand Sahib Bazaar to the central government. We talked that later on, when the central government did not show any kind of interest or any such kind of action towards the demand that was being raised by the Khalistan movement, so finally they were bound to take a militancy, a kind of violent method. And in that matter, we see that how they were being hidden in the Holy Golden Temple. That means all the Khalistan members, they had hidden in the Golden Temple of Amritsar, and it was bound even for the central government to send the forces, armies, the forces to the Amritsar temple. And finally there was a lot of incident that occurred, fighting took place, and even from both the sides, even from the forces of Indian central government that was being sent and from the Khalistan's member who has turned into militancy, lots of Sikh people, they had to give up their lives. So both the field from they had been killed. Next, we focus on the Rajiv Longwal Accord. So even it has been talked about the Punjab Accord or the Rajiv Longwal Accord, mainly talking about the agreement that was signed between the two leaders, the Prime Minister of India during those times known as Rajiv Gandhi, and the President of Akali Dal known as Sant Longwal. So there was an agreement that was signed between both the leaders, mainly focusing on the point regarding whatever the 7 objectives or the highlighting points were put into effect by in the Anand Sahib resolution, that would finally give on to the Sarkaria Commission, which was under the supervision or under the leadership of Ranjit Singh in the year of 1983. So these were all the points which mainly highlights about the Punjab state, how they also wanted to get a new separate nation only for the Sikh community. And talking about the Blue Operation Star, which is also one of the most remarkable incidents that occurred in Amritsar, the holy temple in the heart of Punjab state, and then lots of points that were being highlighted. And finally talking about the Rajiv Gandhi and the Sant Longwal agreement, also known as Accord, which was signed, and talking about the Sarkaria Commission. So this was overall the summary wise regarding your 4th chapter, with talking about the central as well as state relation and the demand that was led by the Punjab state. I hope you have understood in today's class the topic that I had taught you. Till then, stay safe. Thank you and God bless.